We are live. Yes. Here we go. Here we go. We have action. People starting to jump on. Guys, as you're jumping on the live, drop a little comment in below. Say hello. Yes. Okay, let's do it. Guys, we have action. Brilliant. How we doing, guys? How we doing? So here we go, guys. Absolutely buzzing for this one tonight. Mr. Sam Hickey, who I'll get to in just a second. Loads of requests for him to come on. So I was buzzing once I dropped him the wee message and asked him that he agreed to come on. So, yep, absolutely over the moon. How we doing, guys? Yes. Love it. As you're jumping on, what I would love you to do, guys, hit that love heart button. We have to try and share Sam's story far and wide. He is obviously massively well known in the boxing world, but we want to get him out there to as many of the general public because he is a star in the making, and we want to make sure that he has got as much support as possible. Hit that share button if you can, guys. Be greatly appreciated. And let's get stuck in. So, Sam, first of all, thanks very much for coming on, mate.
No problem, mate. Once you asked me to come on, mate, I was up for it from the start. I mean, I've seen your videos and that with people before, and I was just, as soon as you said, do you want to come on the show, I was like, no problem. No problem, mate.
Brilliant, man. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. So, how you been anyway, mate?
All good, mate. Obviously, difficult times for everybody just now, but making the most out of what I can do. Do you know what I mean? Like through this, like lockdown, like COVID, like stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's been all right.
What's it like for a professional athlete? Like obviously you can't get yourself in the gym or anything like that.
Well, like obviously, mate, it's a bit different to what. So like myself and other like athletes in the city and all over the world, like we're used to being in the gym 24/7, 2-3 times a day, training intense sessions and stuff like that. So obviously over when you're training that you get a break here and there, but to be honest I think it's been good for me because I've been able to sort of let my body recover and let my body grow a wee bit because as you know I'm only young. I've got to let my body grow, and in boxing you're always making a weight, sticking in your 5% of what weight you fight at and stuff like that. So it's been good and it's been bad at the same time because I've had a big year planned. I was meant to be going away a few times in April, and meant to be going away a couple of times then over the last few months, but it's all been sort of scrapped. But there is plans underway to get us all back in the gym pretty soon, and away different countries and that, training camps and stuff like that. So we just need to wait and see what the script is with that. Do you know what I mean? But it's been all right.
Brilliant. How many times a year do you actually fight as an amateur, Sam?
Well, it's different because obviously if you get your club boxers who just box on club show level and stuff like that, they could box from like 6 to 12, maybe even more. It just depends because there's club shows on every week. So they could fight every week if they wanted to, if they've got the matchups. But with international boxing, so like with myself and all the other like sort of Team Scotland boxers and GV boxers and any international boxer, they could be fighting from like the national championships, and like the Scottish championships are usually in March. After that, you've got your British championships in May, and you're fighting these tournaments. You could be fighting 3 to 5 times in a tournament to win gold. So you could have about 25 fights in a year maybe, but it just depends on how far you go in the tournament. We usually have about 6 tournaments a year, what we go to, but in between that, there's training camps in different countries and sparring camps and that, which gets you sort of ready for the tournaments. You know what I mean? So it is a busy year. We don't really get much of a break. Only really get 2 weeks in the summer, 2 weeks maybe. Well, 2 weeks at Christmas is probably the best break we get. Do you know what I mean? When we're not really doing much, just sort of active recovery. But yeah, we're pretty active, like on the international boxing scene. Do you know what I mean?
That's cool. What is the Scotland setup like?
It's brilliant, mate. So Boxing Scotland have the last year they've started a new sort of like the elite boxing group. So what it is like this: all these top boxers from Scotland, they're all put into this sort of group format where we'll get in the gym more than we usually would. So before we'd only be in the gym on a Saturday training in Glasgow, in Brigton in the high performance centre, but now we've got the opportunity to be going in. So I go to Glasgow on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and training twice a day. So I'll be driving. I could stay up there in the hotel if I want, but I drive back and forward just because I think it's easier with like coming back and doing work and stuff like that. But I'm in the gym in Glasgow twice a day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. Got all I'm on the Institute of Sport. Yep. I get all my physio, nutritionist, stuff like that that I need, and they give me it for like free. Do you know what I mean? So they sort me right out Boxing Scotland. Do you know what I mean? They send me all these tournaments and that, and I don't get charged. It's all paid for from Team Scotland and Boxing Scotland. So do you know what I mean? It is brilliant. It's a brilliant situation I'm in just now, and you know what I mean. I'm looking forward to keeping it going when this all sort of goes back to normality.
Yep, that's brilliant, mate. That's brilliant. And what's the standard though? Other boxers, maybe your age, are coming through.
Well, so I'm in the seniors. I just turned senior when I was 18. So I'm boxing boys who are up to like 40-year-olds. If there is boxers who are 40-year-old in the tournament, do you know what I mean? But like usually they're about 20s, probably because boys are going pro and that later on. But 25, probably 25, 26, that age sort of. Do you know what I mean? So I'm pretty. It's like when you go senior, you sort of got to start again on the international scene and get your name out there and that in all these different countries. Like as a youth and junior coming through, I was pretty well established, like going to these tournaments and winning medals and gold medals, silvers, bronzes. But as a senior, I've got to make my mark again on the senior like international scene. Do you know what I mean? So it is a high standard, but for my age, there is good boys out my age as well who are senior and all, but we're all sort of spread up at different weights. So you've got boys at me 75, 60 kilo. Do you know what I mean? It's all spread out. But yes, in Scotland there's a good standard coming through just now. And like the boys who were there before me and that, there's always been a good standard of boxers in Scotland.
Does it give you that wee fire in the belly, Ken, and you've got to go back to scratch again?
Yeah. Well, so like when I go senior, you're excited because obviously when you're a youth, you've got the head guard on. I'm fighting in my amateurs. You fight 3 frees, and it's a fast pace. But when you get that head guard off, it's a different sort of game. You know what I mean? It's a lot better. I really enjoy it with the head guard because so when you've got the head guard on, it's like a wee box. You know what I mean? You can't really move as much. But when you've got it off, the punches just sort of slide by you a lot easier than what they would with the head guard on. So going senior is a lot better for me, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? Some boys say they wouldn't want to go senior and stuff because they wouldn't want to be taking punches with the head guard off. But I think it's a lot safer without the head guard because you're not getting hit as much. Because the punches just slide off. Do you know what I mean? With the varsity and that on, they just slide past. I don't think you're taking as much punishment with it all.
So, mate, where did it all start for you? What age were you when you got into boxing?
Well, mate, I started back when I was 9-year-old, 2009. I remember years and years before that, I was always like punching my dad's hands and stuff like that because he'd done a bit of boxing training and that. He always enjoyed the boxing. I remember saying to him, I wanted to start the boxing. And my dad got in touch with a couple of people, and when I was 9, he just come into my room one day and he said, "Son, you go up to the boxing. We're going to take you to a club." So I remember walking into when I first started. I went up to St Francis when I was 9, and trained there for about a year. But it was like stuff going on at St Francis and that. It wasn't really much going on there. It was like sort of dying down because St Francis shut for a couple of years. When I went to Lochee, they were shut. The club shut down. So when I was at St Francis, it was only me, Mike Towell, Stuart Campbell, Davey Drummond was there at the time, and the coach Billy Smith. But a lot of the time when I was there, it was only really me, Mike Towell in the gym with Billy Smith, and Stuart Campbell was there for a bit, and then he moved to Lochee, and then Mike moved to Lochee, and then he got in touch with my dad and said, you need to get Sam up to Lochee. So that's when I think I was 10. I trained there for about a year. Me, Billy Smith, and Mike Towell and Stuart Campbell trained there for a while, and Billy Smith got me a good sort of base in my boxing and stuff like that, and give me a good start with the technique and stuff like that, knowing like just the basics, like the basic 1-2s, left hook, stuff like that. And I felt when I moved to Lochee, I was sort of ready to go. So that's when I first met Jerry, Andy Howitt, when I went up there, and Scotty Cunningham and Big John Riley, and I had my first fight when I was 11 years ago.
What was it like going for your first fight?
Crazy, mate. I remember it was in the Dean. It was actually, the fight's on YouTube. The fight is on YouTube, mate. You go on YouTube and you type Sam Hickey boxing, and it was in the Dean Park Hotel. I think I fought a boy called Callum Brown. I remember going through, it was in my dad's car. It was me, Scotty Cunningham, Andy Howitt, Billy Smith, and Mike Towell went through. And it was I was only a wee boy at the time. There's a picture of me. There's videos of me on the pads and that before it hitting the pads. Andy Howitt's got me on the pads, and I remember I was just tiny wee guy going in for this first fight. It was mental. Like, so before the referees used to, like, it was that long ago. The referees used to wear the white shirt, the white trousers, and the bow tie. Now they've had these on for years. It was years ago. That's how long ago it was. They used to wear that. Now they wear the black trousers with a white shirt and a bow tie. That's how long ago it was. So when you see people are boxing when they've got the white trousers on, you're like, he's an OG. Do you know what I mean? He's been boxing for a while. But it was. Did
you win?
A bit mental. Yeah, I won my first fight. There's a bit in the fight when was it the second round or something? The boy comes forward and I caught him with a picture left hook, and you just see the boy going flying across the ring. My dad on the camera, he's like, starts swearing and that, saying, "Oh, that was a brilliant shot." See, like after it, he's speaking to Mike Towell. He's like, "That was a pizza." It was funny. It's funny looking back.
Still on the camera.
Yeah, he goes on to Mike Towell on the camera and Billy Smith. You see him. Mike Towell got the long hair on it. He starts smiling at the camera, and that was funny. It's funny, brilliant, good memories. It's good that that's on YouTube. You can watch it back. Anybody on the live stream, watch it back. You'll see me. I'm tiny on it.
I'll need to go and watch it.
To be honest, mate, you probably don't even get to watch it that good because my dad's shaking that much because he's nervous. You should have gave it to somebody else in the crowd.
Quality. So after winning your first fight, did that give you the fire in the belly? Were you like,
see what, mate? I lost my second fight. I boxed in the Friary on the Lochee Boys Home Show, and I got beat. But it was. I remember I was gutted after it. It was my dad, actually. One of my dad's best pals, Lee Cadona. No, sorry, I can't remember who it was. Lee Cadona, Lee Mahadi, or something like that. But it was one of my dad's best pals' weddings, and my dad actually left the wedding party to come and watch my fight, and I got beat. And I remember my dad, my cousin and his uncle, my uncle come, and he was like, "We've come all the way from the wedding, and you got beat." And I was like, it was. But see what, I don't actually remember being that phased by getting beat. It just sort of made me feel like come back stronger, sort of thing. You know what I mean? And after that, I'm sure I went on a big winning streak after that, and I won my first Scottish title when I was 11. And I remember Andy Howitt was like buzzing off it. Me, Andy, and Logan Howitt, and my dad, and that with him. We drove the car, and after I won it, because I didn't actually even know what it was.
Yep.
That was a Scottish Open title, and that's like I was only had about 3 fights or something like that, and that title, any fight's been going at. So I couldn't even fight somebody who was a lot more experienced than me. I remember winning it, and Andy and that making it like it was a big deal, and I didn't even have a clue. I was just this wee guy going like, I was like not even that bothered, but yeah, from then I sort of like that's when I sort of realised. See when I won that, I think I really did take boxing serious after that, and I felt like I'm pretty decent at this. Do you know what I mean? I can go on and maybe do something better. Do you know what I mean? I've sort of won every year after that. I was winning Scottish titles, winning different tournaments. I won an intermediate title and then another 5 open titles or something like that. And over the years before I've become senior, do you know what I mean? So yeah, that they first. Well, to be honest, I've never always been winning. I remember when I was about 12 or 13, I went on like a 9 losing streak. 9 fights. I lost 9 fights on the bounce.
How did you deal with it?
See, what I remember, my dad was on the phone on the car, and I don't actually think my dad thought I was going to keep boxing, because my auntie and my dad were on the phone, and my auntie said, "Oh, is you not getting sick of the boxing and that?" You know what I mean? But I wasn't actually. I don't think I was meant to hear it. But I was on the young speaker. It was on the Bluetooth in the car. And I remember that. And to be honest, see, when I was getting beaten, my confidence was down a bit. But I was fighting for Scotland when I was 12-year-old or something. I was going down to England, boxing in GB championships and stuff like that, and fighting against these good boys. And in the amateurs as well, mate, you get a lot of bad decisions. So a few of them were bad decisions, and do you know what I mean? You've sort of got to keep on going. And I did end up. I got back winning, got on a winning streak in that again. And I never really looked back since. You know what I mean? Like in the amateurs, it's for learning. It's not about it is obviously about winning. Just now for me in the seniors, it is about winning. But see, when you're 12, 13, 14, like a loss is a loss. You know what I mean? You just got to keep on going. And from then, I never really looked back. What was that?
That's quality, mate. How important was like the people around you at that time? Because to go 9 without a win, it must have been tough, mate.
See when you're at school and that, mate, and primary and that, like going into first year or whatever, do you know, I wouldn't say like bullying or that, but like boys, there's always these wee boys who like were putting in wee comments and that, saying like they never win their fights and stuff like that, or I thought you're meant to be Scottish champion, and you know. But see, to be honest, if I didn't have my mum and my dad and my family there, I might have not been boxing, because they've been driving me. My dad's been driving me back and forth from Glasgow since I was 11-year-old, taking me to Scotland training and stuff like that. So if it wasn't for my dad, you know what I mean, I probably wouldn't be in the position I'm in, because he got me in that Scotland setup, and I got boxing for Scotland at such a young age and stuff, and I realised when I was boxing for Scotland, I was like, I must be decent, because I wouldn't be boxing for Scotland if I wasn't. And you know what I mean, if he wasn't taking me to training in Glasgow every Saturday, waking me up at 6:30, 7 in the morning to go and make the session, you know what I mean, I might not be doing what I'm doing right now. And so, you know what I mean, it's a big part to play, like my mum and my dad, and all the rest of my family keeping me involved. You know what I mean? Even though my mum and my grandma and my granny might not want me to do the boxing because they don't want to see me get punched in the face, but you know what I mean, they still support me.
Brilliant, mate. That's brilliant. I know you've mentioned Mikey Towell a couple of times already, and obviously got really close to him for age of 9?
9-year-old, mate. I remember when I was 9. When we were boxing at St Francis, when we'd go on a run. Every session you'd go on a run around the beach, or you'd go from the, you know where the old St Francis club was beside the B&Q and that. So
the beach,
you go right, So you go right around, like down B&Q past that Kingsway sort of retail park. Then you'd go up around. Can't remember what that street is beside the Johnny's.
Up Johnson Avenue.
And you come past, you'd go past St John's, and you come back around, back down like Beachy bit, and then you'd end up back at St Francis. So I was doing that for a couple of months. I was going on that run all the time. I remember Mike sort of pulled me to the side, and he went, "You come with me." So me and him would go on our own run. We'd go right down the industrial estate and go and do these steps and that, and he would do sprints and stuff like that. And like from then, my dad, Mike was only like 17 or something like that, young anyway. But my dad we used to give him a lift back to his house, on Campbell Road, to Tracy's, and we used to just sit and speak in the car for half an hour, 40 minutes, just about boxing, and he would just speak for ages. just like, and then when he moved to Lochee, he got me to move to Lochee. When he was coming to my fights and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? He was a big inspiration for me when I was young, growing up. Do you know what I mean? I say he was like a big brother to me. Like when I was getting older and stuff like that, we used to go and train in Stirling at the 13-14 club where he trained on a Tuesday, Thursday, and we'd go through for sparring and that on a Sunday. Do you know what I mean? And I spent quite a lot of time with him when I was getting older and stuff like that. So he did have a big effect on me. I remember when he used to do these race nights, right? And so like for fundraising for his training camps. So we could go off work and stuff like that. And I remember I left my house keys at his race night. So I phoned him. I was like, mate, I've left my keys. If you could find them and you can drop me them off. So I was at this other race night, in the taxi club in Hilltown. And he dropped them off and he was like, he did me, he went, here, if you've got any problems, that just give me a phone. Do you know what I mean? Like he was always there for me. And I remember one time when I was away, my mum and dad were away for the weekend, and I was waiting to have a couple of my mates up. And he was like, here, I was on the phone to him. I told him, he was like, you need to watch your dad will go off his nut. If any of them kicks off for that, just let me know, and I'll come down. Do you know what I mean? He was always good with me. Yeah. When I was growing up.
Nah, brilliant, mate. How good was he, son?
Yeah, Mike was good, mate. He obviously, mate, like he did not suit the amateurs. When he was an amateur, he fought boys and got bad decisions against them because it was point scoring at the time. And he went pro. Maybe could have stayed amateur for a wee while and got a few more fights under his belt and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And he went pro and he was knocking boys out and stuff like that, and he was entertaining and people loved watching him. Do you know what I mean? There was an article a few years ago saying Mike Towell, the Scottish Roberto Duran and stuff like that. And he looked up to boys like that. He had a Roberto Duran tattoo on his arm. A Roberto Duran tattoo, Mike Tyson and Joe Frazier. He loved boys like that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, mate, he was good. And he was coming on better. He was starting to move his head a wee bit more and get a bit better defensive. I remember when like coming up to his fights and that, I would used to spar him. And obviously I was young, but I was skillful, do you know what I mean? And we would do like a minute and a half with me, a minute and a half on the body bag, a minute and a half of me. So I would just be moving, like just keeping it long all the time, and he was very, very strong, do you know what I mean? Very good. Yeah, very strong. A strong fighter. Had a good dig on him as well, and obviously had a big heart, do you know what I mean? So yeah, he was good.
Mate, obviously somebody being so close to you and the circumstances of how you ended up passing, did that affect you with your thoughts towards boxing?
See, when I was there that night when he passed away to me at the fight, and it did have a big effect on me, mate. I was only 16. Do you know what I mean? So I've never ever had to grieve before when I was 16. I've never lost anyone in my family at that age. You know what I mean? So it was hard, mate. When I was 16, my dad and I remember him asking me like, "Do you want to stop boxing and stuff like that?" And I was sort of debating stopping boxing, but then I remember speaking to Chloe and Tracy and that, and they said, "What would Mike want you to stop boxing?"
Yep.
And I was like, "Nah, he wouldn't want me to stop boxing." So I remember a month or so after he passed, I went on a few training camps of Boxing Scotland to Ireland, and I think I might have went to a tournament and had a few fights, and I was winning. So I never sort of looked back from there, but he always stuck in my mind. Do you know what I mean? When I was training that, well, still to this day, they stick in my mind when I think about them all the time. Do you know what I mean? But at that time, when I was that age, it did have a big effect on me, and maybe it done good for me to like sort of use him as an inspiration for me to train harder.
Yep. I love it, mate. I love it.
Oh,
are you there? Oh, technical.
Dane.
Yeah, I'm here, man. That's you back. I see you. You hear us? All good.
Hello?
Yep, I'm here, mate.
Hello?
You see us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, man.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, mate, I see you. What happened there? Was that me?
I don't know. I thought somebody was phoning you.
What was it? What was the last thing you heard me say?
You were saying that.
Nah, mate, I
Ashley,
don't know what's happened there. Like,
no, you were just saying that you think that spurred you on, inspired you more.
yeah, basically, mate. So, it could have. Well, not. It wasn't. It obviously wasn't a good thing, mate. It was probably one of the hardest things about to deal with. But I used it as inspiration to help me go forward. Do you know what I mean? And as a young boy, mate, at the time, it was hard. Do you know what I mean? So, I did use it as inspiration, and it probably won me them fights and stuff like that. Because obviously, I wasn't in the mind to be training at the time. I wasn't in that frame of mind to be training and that. Do you know what I mean? But you know, things happen, and you've got to sort of move on and get on with what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? So
you've got to take your hats off to yourself, mate, because Ken, at such a young age, being 16 and something like that happening, Ken, it's to take the negative for it and just to keep plowing forward, mate. So well done. Well done.
Cheers, mate.
Sorry, on you go.
Nah, mate, I was just going to say, like, obviously, hard for me, but harder for the people even closer to them. Do you know what I mean? You know, I had people around me at the time who were able to sort of help me get through it, and it was more about helping the other people like Chloe and Tracy get through it as well. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, well done to me, but well done to them.
No, definitely, mate, definitely. So now, Sam, what does being a boxer mean to you?
Well, mate, it's sort of all I've really known. Do you know what I mean? I've been training since I was 9-year-old, and I was playing other sports and that when I was that age at the time, and I wasn't really that good at football or that, so I had to be the boxing. But it is all I do, mate. I've sacrificed a lot to do this sport, because when you go in the boxing ring and you're not fully committed to the sport, especially at the level I'm boxing at, you'll get hurt, you'll get knocked out. So, yeah, it means a lot to me, boxing. If I didn't do boxing, I'd probably be just one of them average people, you know, like just not like, well, not an average person, sorry, but like I wouldn't have any aim in my life. I don't actually know what I'd be doing. I could be out in the street causing bother. I could be
giving you purpose. Boxing's giving you purpose.
Basically, mate, I wouldn't know what I wouldn't, because I've tried to work with my dad and stuff like that before, and it's not me. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like my dad, mate. I'm my own person, and like it is giving me a purpose in life, and I don't know what else I would be doing if I wasn't boxing. So, yeah, mate, it's all I know.
And here, mate, to make it to the top, Ken, you mentioned the sacrifices there, and you've been making them for your living.
Yeah, like, listen, since I've been into high school and stuff like that, I've missed out on a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like, especially when you're getting older and stuff like that. 16, 17, your pals are going out, drinking, partying, and stuff like that. And you know, when you've got fights and stuff, and you look at the bigger picture and you think, is this worth it for me just now? It isn't. So you're that, like, for me anyway, I sacrificed a lot. I've missed holidays with my pals, I missed nights out with my pals. And here, like, I don't miss, like, I do go on nights out and stuff like that when it's like, you can't live like never
you
going
got
out
to
and stuff
live.
like that. I'll go on nights out sometimes when I'm not training. Hello.
Yep, I'm here, mate.
Hello.
Yep, I'm here, Sam.
Can you hear me? Yeah. So, like, I'll sacrifice a lot. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, mate.
So
all good.
Obviously, I sacrifice a lot, but when you're training for that long, at the end of it, and you fight in a tournament, and you've been going being in a sort of training camp, fighting sort of period for like 6 months, 7 months sometimes, and you know I'm due a wee night out with my pals and that at the end of it, you know, like there's not really much wrong with that. You know, not just me, all the other like people involved in the sport, they're just the same as me.
Oh,
they all
definitely.
train hard at this level. So like boxing, every like top boxers make a lot of sacrifices, and the same with any other like high sort of level in sport. Anyone, do you know what I mean? There's a lot of sacrifice to be made, and I don't think some people know the sacrifices that people do make.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
like especially boxers.
Like the iceberg, is it? The iceberg obviously goes so far.
No one sees what goes on behind the scenes. In your head, like injuries, training, stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like I've been in training sometimes, and I've not really sparred well and stuff like that. And you know, you get upset, and it really does play a big sort of part on your mind. And no one sees that. They only see you winning, and they only see you losing. Do you know what I mean? They only see the wee bits but only the people behind the scenes get to see everything else. The hard training, the hard spars, like the eating, nutrition. Do you know what I mean? Making weight all the time, being in your weight. It really does make you a different person when you're making weight. Ask my mum; she'll tell you herself when I'm waiting to fight. She doesn't speak to me for. I don't speak to her for about a week. I just bite her head off every time I speak. Do you know what I mean? So, it's boxing. Boxing is a hard sport, and you make a lot of sacrifices to do it. So, when I do get the chance to go and see my pals and my mates and see family and friends, like, and say what go on a wee night out here and there, I make the most of it. You know, so
definitely,
it is a big sacrifice to do it.
You're obviously mentally strong, Sam, especially like fighting at the level that you're at. Do you think that was something that was developed, or do you think that you had that in you anyway and it got stronger?
I think it's been developed, Dean. I don't think I've always been, well, see, just now I feel mentally stronger than ever because I've been doing this lockdown stuff, and I feel like I'm raring to go. There's been times when you're in training camp and stuff like that, and you're not wanting to go. You're not wanting to train. But you've got to keep doing it because it's what it is. You just sort of tell yourself that you've got this goal coming, and if you're not doing what you're meant to be doing right now, you're not sort of gonna get past that goal. You're gonna fail. So I think when, like as I said earlier on, when I went on that long losing streak when I was 9, well not 9, sorry, when I went on that 9 losing streak when I was younger, when I've lost in say British Championship finals, when I've been robbed in big massive tournaments that could have like really sort of changed a lot for me. You know, it has made me mentally strong, and if I didn't have the people around me, would I be as mentally strong as what I am? No chance. You've got to remember that, that you can't do it on your own. It's you getting in there fighting, that's the hard bit, but everything else, you need a solid sort of, not a team, but well, family, friends, team
like
around
a team,
you.
It's like an extended team.
Yeah. You can say that, but it's like that anything in it, like in business, whatever, you know, sport, anything. You've got to have that sort of. You've got to be mentally strong because not everything's going to go your way, and not everything's went my way. I've not had everything my way. You've got to deal with that, and I have, and I feel good just now. Obviously, with lockdown, that's not been easy for anyone, but I think it's been good for me because I'm actually moving up in weight just now. I feel like I'm letting my body grow, and I feel good. So I'd say I'm mentally strong, and I've not done it myself. It's been other people helping me there, and I've made it. So I
love it, mate. I love it. What you're wearing the t-shirt just now. Your sponsors and that. Oh. Hello.
Hello.
We're back, Sam.
You all right? Mate, I've just went on my 4G.
Oh, did you?
the Wi-Fi is not working, so I just went on the 4G there. What was the last thing you heard me saying, mate?
I think we were on about your extended team, and I brought up about your sponsors as well. Other people who are supporting you.
Oh yeah, the sponsors. I've got a few sponsors. I've actually got the sponsor t-shirt now. I've got well, my main sponsor, Briggs Marine. They're a pretty big company, do you know what I mean? And them helping me, they're helping me out is like amazing for me. The last 3 years or something, they've been sort of sorting me out every year. So big shout out to them. I've got B&T Autos, Stuart Barnett, down at B&T. He's a big help as well for me. Whenever I've got a problem in a car, he'll sort it. He's really good to me, you know what I mean? I've known him for a few years. My dad used to have his workshop there, so he'd always come and speak to me and that, and he's a really good hand to me. Brown and Sons barber, you know Scott, cuts my hair. He's a great lad, Scott.
Yeah, so everything adds up, mate, does it? All the support you can get, adds up.
The haircuts. Obviously, I'm not getting my haircut every week, but when I get it cut, it's a big help, especially before a fight. You got to look fresh, with a tournament or something like that. I've got Chris Rabatti. They're on the back. I've got Chris Rabatti at Scarivello. He gives me a hand every month. He used to box for Lochee, so when he was at Lochee, he sponsors a few of us. I think he sponsored me. He sponsored Brendan Howitt. Helps out Ronnie Clark as well. So he's helping out a few local boxers in the town, and he really loves the sport. So he helps me out in Brighton. And MGM Timber. They sponsored me last year, and they sponsored me this year. So they're good to me as well. Scott Duffy at MGM. He sorted that out for me. So yeah, mate, I've got a few people helping me out. And sponsorship, especially when you're like an athlete and you've got to train all the time and you've got to sort of sacrifice like money and stuff like that. You've got, especially for older people as well, like got kids, some boxers that have got kids and a family and stuff they need to take care of as well. So it really does help, especially when you're travelling a lot back and forward to Glasgow, whatever expenses. And yeah, it's brilliant that these people want to help sportsmen like myself.
Yeah, we're getting a few technical. We're getting a few technical issues tonight, Sam. Are we?
I know, mate. I know.
All good though, mate. All good.
Did I go away again?
I think I went away that time, mate.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Scotland. So pulling on the jersey. What is it like? Representing your country.
Mate, I've been representing Scotland since I was 12-year-old, and I always represent them now. Like when I'm not really boxing for Lochee as much, because I'm always on the sort of international scene, boxing tournaments away and stuff like that. So only time I really get to box for Lochee is when I'm in the national championships, and that's when Jerry and Andy and Scotty and Big John get to do my corner. But when I'm boxing in Scotland, mate, it's a brilliant feeling. I remember the first time I put in the Scotland vest was brilliant for me. Even though it was when I was getting beat a lot, it was still good to be sort of go down to these places that you wouldn't normally go to and put on the Scotland jersey. Do you know what I mean? I'm getting to travel to loads of different countries, representing my own country against these other countries, against these people who I would never ever meet. And it's brilliant. Some of the places I've been to represent my country is mental, mate. Like I've went to the Bahamas when in 2017 for the youth Commonwealth Games. I've been to Russia, Hungary, Spain, Serbia. I wouldn't go to these places myself. Do you know what I mean? I've gone back. So getting to do it, represent my country boxing is a big thing for me. And that is why, like, sort of, I'm staying amateur, because getting to do this opens a lot more doors for me, getting my name out there, representing my country and stuff like that. And it's good. It is good for me and my progress moving forward. It's the best sort of place for me to be right now.
Yep. And when the time is right and you've got the titles under your belt, the big promoters will come calling.
Definitely, mate. When you're going to them Commonwealth Games, Olympic Games, hopefully World Championships, Europeans and stuff like that, and these people will come knocking on your door.
Will you hold off and stay amateur to the next Olympics, you think?
So my plan, mate, is to sort of Commonwealth Games in 2022. I want to go to them, and if I'm on Team GB, I will try and hold off for the Olympics in 2024 Paris. But I don't actually know what the script is with them, because obviously the Olympics next year have been changed. So maybe 2024 or maybe 2025, and 24, 25 is a good age to turn over, especially if you're getting sort of signed by your Eddie Hearns, Frank Warrens, MTKs and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm hoping to go to the Commonwealth Games, Olympics, and then turn over. Do you know what I mean? If the deal is there, obviously you don't want to be turning pro and be on the wrong sort of deal. Do you know? You want to be in a like sort of secure position where you're fighting, and like Ronnie probably spoke to you about it, mate. When like the pro game is different. You know, you want to be in that A side sort of. You know, where you're getting where you're comfortable. You know, you're not going to pressure. You're getting paid decent money and stuff like that. So yeah, I want to hold off and try and get as much experience in the amateurs as I can, and hopefully go pro, and get a good deal behind me, and get a few people behind me as well, good following and stuff like that.
I actually skipped it at the start, and it was at the top of my notes, because when I sent you the message when I was going to put the bio up, you had to correct us. It was like 5-time Scottish champion, British champion, European silver, European bronze, and Commonwealth bronze. Is that?
Yeah, mate. So European, when I was 16, I won a European silver. I won a European bronze when I was 18, just before I turned senior. So when I was a youth junior, I was good. I was coming through, but I remember when I boxed in European finals when I was 16, and I fought this Russian in the final, and oh my, he looked like he was about 24-year-old. He was a machine. The size of I was just a wee skinny thing, man. He had the size of the back on him. It was crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, no, I've never seen anything like it. You look back on the video of it, I'm just can't believe it, man. But I was 16. But the Russians are different animals, different.
Yep.
Different.
Yeah, it must have been good winning the British though, mate.
That was good, mate. That was probably that was in Glasgow, in Ravenscraig. Have you been there? They all did the duels, the boxing, so like the Scottish Championship and that are in Ravenscraig. And,
that's where my girls go there for dance competition.
Dancing and stuff like that. So they put the boxing and that on in there. So like the tournaments and stuff. And I remember that winning that was a big thing for me, because I'd been in the Brit. So every time you win a Scottish title, you're in the British. And I've been in so many British championships, mate, and I've come across some bad decisions in the British championships. And winning that British title that year was a big thing for me, because every year it was like I knew I was going to win the Scottish, but so every year I'd be like, I want to win the British. I want to win the British, you know. So when I won the British, I was happy, and it was like sort of like a goal ticked off. And now I want to win the British as a senior now. I want to win the Scottish as a senior now, and that'll be once I win the Scottish as a senior, British as a senior, I'll win from Scottish from junior, schoolboy, junior, youth, senior, and a British as a youth and a senior. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, mate, it's just ticking them titles off the list now.
I love it. See, when you win the British, though, there's things start to change within like the GB setup and things.
Well, I've been on GB assessments, mate, for over a year now, and last year I got, so the way the GB setup works, mate, is when you go for an assessment, you go on 3 assessments, and that was, when was it? I just turned senior, and I was fighting at 69 kilo at the time, so I wasn't the strongest, I was tall for the weight, massive for the weight, but I never had sort of like man strength, and I still don't have my full man strength and stuff. You know what I mean? I've put on a couple of stone over the last year or something, but I still didn't have that sort of man strength about me. And
you
I got
definitely
onto the
see it, mate. You definitely see it, and
over
I've
the
seen
last,
you sporadically in person, and you definitely see you're starting to get wider and wider.
Definitely, mate. I've still got a lot to do, a lot of growing to do. But when I went down for them GB assessments, it was like 80 odd boxers over, like from Britain, like England, Wales, Scotland. They choose the boxers who they want to get on the team, like, and they go down for an assessment, and it's like a 4-day assessment. So you're going in and you're sparring with these boys, and I got onto the third assessment, so it went from like 80 odd boxers to 4 boxers or 5 boxers, and only 2 of them got on, and the rest have turned pro. And these boxers have turned pro with like your Eddie Hearns and stuff like that. But I remember GB said, we just need you to get a wee bit sort of more experience and a wee bit stronger, because the GB program is really, really hard. And either it sort of makes or breaks you. The training is horrible, mate. It is hard, but it's works for them. Do you know what I mean? They've been getting gold medals at Olympics and stuff like that for years. So the training works, but you've got to have that special mentality for it. And I think mine is just going to get used to it, and I'll get on it one day. Hopefully over the next couple of years I'll get on GB, and I'll be looking to go to the Olympics in 2024.
How would your life change getting on the GB? Would you need to move and stuff?
See, the train in Sheffield, mate, Monday, so there's like 3 teams. There's like podium potential, and then there's podium potential full time, and then there's podium squad. So I think the podium potential train, so at first when you go on, you're on like a 3-month trial, you go down once every 2 weeks for 4 nights. And then you're on podium potential full time, so that's Thursday to Sunday every week or something like that. So you'd be driving down, training. You drive if you drive from Dundee down to Sheffield, you jump in sparring as soon as you get there. You know what I mean? It's tough. And then the running in the morning. You wake up at 7 in the morning. You're running in the morning. So you're doing that 3 times a day, running, sparring, pads, bags, stuff like that. And then podium, the full-time podium team, they train Monday to Thursday. And they come down on the Monday, go home on the Thursday. But they've got flats and stuff. The teams just switch. There's people in and out all the time. There's different countries in there all the time. There's always something going on down there, and they've got flats and stuff like that you stay in when you go down there. So that it is good facilities down there, mate. Anthony Joshua and stuff train down there. I've met him a few times when I've been down there. There's always pros coming in that gym for sparring and stuff like that. So you always boy Joshua Blatzy and that, he trains in GB. So there's big names in there all the time. Carol Frotz used to train down at GB because Rob McCracken, AJ's coach, he's the head coach at GB. So he basically, he's the head boy, so he tells you if you're going, basically he chooses if you're going on GB or not after the 3 sessions. All the coaches have to sit down, and he's the sort of boss man, do you know what I mean? But yeah, it would change your life going down. Well, wouldn't it change your life if, what was that?
Getting his DMs.
Yeah, so yeah, mate. But like, it wouldn't change your life just getting on GB. You've got to do something when you get on GB for it to change your life. So you do have to still work hard once you get on it. But in my life right now, I'm happy doing what I'm doing on the Scotland squad and that. And when GB comes, or if it comes, or whatever, I'll go. But I'm happy what I'm doing now. We're like. Boxing Scotland and stuff like that. They've been brilliant with me, sending me on these tournaments and training camps, not spending a lot of money on the boys who go. So I'm just seeing what happens, going with the flow just now.
When you think about like boxers past and present, who would you have loved to have fought?
Well, so from the past, mate, I would love to fight Sugar Ray Leonard. I used to watch a lot of him, and his hand speed and his feet work. I just like to go in and see what sort of the old school fighters were all about. Do you know what I mean? Because he was one of the best. But just fighters today, mate. Obviously, if you fought Canelo, you'd be getting a big payday.
Big boy, you'd be wedged in.
You'd be getting a big payday out there, mate. So, yeah, cha-ching. Nah, mate, obviously you're getting a big payday out of Canal.
They're all fighting to get in the ring with him.
He's obviously a big name, and he's obviously a special fighter as well. So to get him with him would obviously be brilliant as well. But yeah, they're the sort of two, past and present. If I was one of them, I wouldn't be bothered. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, they're special fighters.
Do you model yourself on anybody, son, or like take wee bit of
I remember like years. I really like Callum Smith, mate. He's my favourite. But I'm sort of similar height. I'm 6'3". He's 6'3". He boxed at the same sort of weights. He went from 69 kilo, 75, 81. I went 69, 75. But I sort of just try and take wee bits and bobs from loads of different people and all the different sort of countries and training methods that I've been to, and I just put into my own style. I couldn't even tell you what kind of style I've got. Probably a box counter puncher or something like that. Do you know? So I just take bits off everybody, even boys who have boxed to a different class. Do you know what I mean? Boys who have sparred to a very good. You know, so I'm sort of just morph all into my own wee style. But yeah, Callum Smith, I was trying to be like Callum Smith a wee while ago. When I was 15 or something, I used to try and box like him. I used to go in the gym and I'd be boxing like a pro, sitting down on my feet and that. I wouldn't be bouncing about like an amateur. But I realised you can't do that, so I had to go back to bouncing on my toes.
How much of a difference is it going from the amateur to the pros? The style?
Different game, mate. The amateurs, it's such a fast pace in amateurs. Obviously, you've not got as much time. You've got such free frees to fit in so much work. So you see it in amateurs, it's like burst. But in the pros, obviously, you've got to slow your feet down a wee bit because you can't move the way an amateur does for 12 rounds in the pros or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So that's why you always see these amateurs who turn over. They always start off with like the 4, 6, 8 rounders. You know what I mean? They always like sort of go, when they turn pro, they'll go 6 rounds, 8, 6, 8, 10. Then they'll work their way up to the fight. So that's why it takes me a while to sort of change boys over from amateur to pro, because it is such a different game. Especially when amateurs used to be point scoring. You know, it wasn't the 10-9 scoring is what it is now. So it was a lot different back then. So it used to be like if you caught somebody twice in the round, you can just run away the whole round, you know what I mean? And you'd win the fight. But now it's sort of similar to the pro scoring where it's 10-9, 10-8, 10-7. But if you get a knockdown, it's not a 10-8 round, because obviously it could one punch would just change the whole fight. So yeah, it is a completely different game, and some good amateurs are not good pros. Some not so good amateurs are brilliant pros. You know, so yeah, it just shows you that it is a different game, and not a lot of people know that. They always think like you hear them. A lot of people say to me, "Oh, so you're an amateur," like stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't know. Do you know what I mean? They don't understand that Olympic boxing is a high level. These top boxers who turn pro and are box on the Herm shows and that, these were top amateurs as well, and they box at the highest level, and they stayed amateur a while. So you know,
you just got look at Lomachenko.
Yeah, he's a man. He had what 300 odd fights as an amateur, and
only lost one.
He's old as well, mate. He turned pro. I think he was like 28 or something. He turned pro. He won 2 Olympic gold medals, and see them sort of Ukrainian, like Kazakhstan. They all get well looked after as amateurs. Their governments buy them, like state funded, buy them like a lot. They buy them houses, give them a lot of money and that. So that you've only really seen these sort of boxers go pro over the last 8 years or something like that. Like these, like Ukrainians, Eastern Europeans, Kazakhstan, like Asian sort of countries, Uzbekistan. like these boys are beasts. Like these guys, like, they're different kettle of fish. Like they're monsters, and I think they're gonna take over the pros as well pretty soon. There's a few of them turned over, obviously Golovkin and stuff like that. Kazakh, very very good fighters. They're not a lot of people, like the general sort of public, have seen them, but the top level amateurs and stuff like that, they know exactly who they are. You know, these boys.
They do they do the same with their wrestlers as well. They look after their wrestlers right through.
Yeah.
Especially, and then you see a lot of them appearing in the UFC and stuff like that. Absolute monsters.
Yeah. Well, you see it like the Russians and stuff like that. There's loads of Russians in the coming through in the UFC and stuff like that. So you know, they take their sport very serious, and they do get well looked after and good sponsorship and stuff like that. Whether it's gangsters or whatever it is over there, I'm not too sure, but it's mental. It's crazy.
So what have you got, Sam, that everybody else hasn't? What's going to take you to that top of the game?
See, to be honest, mate, I don't think I'm like, well, you could say like special. I don't think I'm like a special. I think I've just got that sort of mentality. Obviously, I've got talent, and people say that I've got the talent and stuff like that, but I work hard. When I need to work hard, I'm working hard. When I've got stuff coming up, when I've got fights and stuff coming, I'll train harder than anyone. Do you know what I mean? In my mind, I'll train as hard as I can, and that's all you can really ask for these boys who are boxers. That you've not got any. You're not second guessing yourself. You're always up to scratch with your training and that. But I wouldn't say I'm different to anyone else. You know, some people are more naturally talented than us. I would say I've got talent and I've got the skills and that, but there's only so much you can do with that. And sort of like, what is it they say? They say
hard work beats talent, and talent doesn't work.
100%. So I've got to work, mate. I might have talent, but I've got to work, and I do work hard, and I've been working hard since I started. I've never been out the gym. Never took a big rest period of that. I've always been working hard. So mate, it's good. I wouldn't say I'm different.
I can you're still only young yourself, but what about for the youngins coming through? Because there's obviously be a lot of guys in the GB, even in Dundee, kind of the Lochee Boys and stuff. What advice do you give to them?
Well, the young boys coming through, like you're like Luca Flynn, Len Bell, McKinley, Lorne, stuff like them. I know all them guys. I do a wee bit of training with them and stuff, and they're good lads. And I think they're all switched on. They've sort of got good backing behind them, with their families and that as well. So they can go as far as they want to go if they've got the sort of good mentality behind it. You know, so if they keep the training up and stuff like that, and they're getting involved in the Scotland setup, like there's boys from Lochee, Luca and Lennon and stuff like that, loads of other Aaron Neymar and stuff like that, mate. They're all sort of going through to the Scotland setup, the development sort of, it's like district. It's all like districts, so they're going to like the northeast sort of training and stuff like that. So they're getting involved in the Scotland setup at a young age, and that's what I done. I got involved in the Scotland setup at a young age, and it's only set me good, because you've always sort of got to be able to sort of take criticism and want to be able to learn. You get some boys who think they know everything, you know, but they don't. You never stop learning, and you've always got to be able to take that on. So all these young boxers just keep training hard and sort of keep going, don't stop.
I think when you go into that environment as well, whether it's districts or Scotland, it's like iron sharpens iron, doesn't it? It's the best of the best who are getting brought in.
You've got to get that good, especially in boxing. You've got to get that good quality sparring and stuff like that. You know, so like when we go down to GB and do some sparring and stuff, it's good work down there. It really makes you a lot better. And when you go on these training camps abroad, like with the Russians or Ukrainians, sort of Kazakhs and stuff like that, they all sort of make you a better. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get every spar your own way. Like, I've had tie-ins before, and I don't think it is the last I'm going to get them. So it is only making me better. It is only making me better. So you get some boys who'll like sort of get a hard spar, and they'll sort of shy away from it. So it's important that you don't shy away from it and you just like learn from it. Sort of don't go and huff.
I love your attitude, mate. I do. I love your attitude. I love your mentality.
Cheers, mate. Cheers. But you like that. No one likes getting beat. Do you know what I mean? But you've got to be able to sort of put it behind you and move forward, and come back better.
Yep.
So it's like when you see, I've seen loads of young boxers when I was younger, and that boys who have battered me when they were in the gym when I was 13, 14, so in Glasgow and Scotland and that, and they went down that wrong path and went down drink and sort of drugs and like sort of ruined it. And now they don't box. I've never seen them in years, but they were brilliant. You know what I mean? Brilliant, like a lot more talented than me. But I've sort of stuck in, and I'm still there. You know, so yeah, it's about sticking in it and not letting people sort of take you down that. Well, no one takes you down that wrong path. You do it yourself, but obviously people influence you and stuff like that. But it's important that you stay on that path. So it is what we're saying. So like, talent can only get you so far, but you've got to train hard as well.
Definitely, mate. So what's the ultimate goal, amateur and pro?
Obviously, as I said, I want to go to Commonwealth Games medal, Olympic Games medal. I want to get a lot of experience under my belt as an amateur, and I want to turn pro. And don't know. Well, obviously, I want to be financially, like I want to earn a lot of money out of boxing. Like I wouldn't be sacrificing so much. I wouldn't be. Obviously, I want to be a champion, professional boxer. I want to be a world champion. I've only set my like sort of standards high, but I wouldn't be sacrificing so much in my life, mate. Like with jobs and earning money and like sacrificing, going on, not missing out on a lot of stuff from my family, friends, and that. If I didn't want to do well in the pros and stuff like that, like this is all setting me as sort of stead for the pros. So yeah, I want to see how far I can go when I turn pro, and hopefully, it's as far as what my mind's telling me, which is being a world champion. Which every boxer should have their goals as being a world champion, because that is you can't put yourself down. You've got to have your standards high. It's like when you hear boys will ask you, "Do you think you'll win?" If you say you think you're going to get beat, what's the point in even going in? You've always got to know. You've always got to tell yourself you've got to win. You've got to do better, even if like it's a hard fight or whatever. You've always got to tell yourself that, because these boys who are mentally strong and just tell themselves that they're going to win, they might be up against it, but you've seen some like big upsets over the years, and it's because they are that strong. You know what I mean? They are that strong. They just get the win because they just tell themselves that they're not going to get beaten. It just happens. Yeah, it's crazy.
I actually love
Conor
McGregor for that. I love Conor McGregor for that.
Yeah.
Like how
he's strong.
Visualize the years. Sorry, mate.
The top level sportsmen, they're all the same. They all like the McGregors, Mayweathers. They're just different breeds. Like when you see Mayweather hitting the pads and that, he's doing all that flashy like catching, touch, but see behind the scenes, he apparently trains like boys have said it on podcasts that before. Like he is the hardest trainer they've ever seen. He'd go in the gym like 3 in the morning, and he would say, "My opponent's not training at this time. I'm going to train this time, so I've got one up on him."
Yeah,
like crazy. These top sportsmen are different sort of level. Like mentally, you know, like they train hard than anyone. Mm-hmm.
Well, mate, the goals are. I love it that you actually said it. I want to be world champion. It just it gives me a buzz. Just hearing you say it. Because there's nothing better than hearing somebody hen goals, hen dreams that are that big that make other people feel uncomfortable. And they didn't make me feel uncomfortable. It totally excites me when I hear somebody saying something like that, mate. So good on you.
You do hear some people like might say what you're I don't know, like what this might mistake it for cockiness, but it's not. It's self-belief. You know, like you ask anyone who knows me, I'm not one who shouts about like saying I'm this, I'm that. I'm pretty like I'm down to earth. My family makes sure I'm down to earth. They wouldn't let me think I'm better than anyone else or anything like that. So I'm not one for going about shouting out, saying all this. So you know, but you've got to have that self-belief, and if you don't, you're not gonna make it. You say, so you're not gonna do anything with it. The talent that you've got, if you're not got the self-belief, you're not gonna do anything with it.
Yep. Well, Sam, here, it's been an absolute blast. I've loved it.
Yeah, mate, I've enjoyed it. It's been good, mate.
Yeah, here, you're so composed, just chatting away. You know what I mean? You're all kind of.
I've done a few interviews like this before, mate. And like it's good, like, you know, first couple of minutes, not you're nervous, but you're just speaking away. Obviously, I can't see who's on the podcast with that, but I'm sure my pals are sitting watching this laughing at me.
You're getting a wee bit stick at the start. But nah, people are just saying, like, they love your growth mindset, Ken, hard work. Well done, Sam. Loads of well done, you mate. People saying class.
Yeah, I hope they enjoyed it. Obviously, just watch, just keep up to date with these boxers coming through Dundee and Scotland and stuff like that, because you need the support. You know, like Dundee, if everyone come, you see it all the time, like people in Dundee come together, it helps massively. So if these people support me, I get a good following, stuff like that, it really sort of helps you get to that next level.
And it's great for the city.
Yeah, that's especially you see that, like, people complaining that in Dundee, saying that not a lot of people in Dundee, maybe some people say that you don't want people to do well in that, but you see it on the comments and that, on all the other videos that you're doing, mate. People are loving these things and seeing what you're doing and stuff like that. So there can only be positivity from this. You know, there shouldn't be any negative sort of comments or that from people. Like, you should always be getting behind your local sort of sportsmen and stuff like that, whether it's boxing, football, table tennis, poker, whatever sport whatever game you're doing. Do you know what I mean?
Because we hear there would be nothing better than to get more big shows in Dundee.
100%, especially in the pros. I know Paul wants a show in Dundee, and you'll get that show in Dundee. So it's
important got to get it.
Like Mike had a show in Dundee, and to be honest, there might not been enough support. But I really hope when Paul gets his show in Dundee, the people are getting behind them, because they deserve it. These boxers in the city. Obviously, I'll not be boxing on any show in Dundee. I'll be in some mad country, probably in Russia, sitting in, sleeping, training, eating, boxing all the time. But hopefully, when I turn over, I'll get a show myself in Dundee as well. You know, but yeah, it's just important these people get behind us.
Paradise.
Yeah, Paradise. We'll do that.
Mate, it's been a blast. Is there anybody else you think you want to give a shout out to tonight?
No, obviously, just don't know. I don't think I say it enough, but my amateur coaches, so like Jerry Howitt, Scotty Cunningham, Andy Howitt, John Riley, Billy Smith, who trained me for a year or so when I first started. Like, the coaches at Lochee, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Obviously, I'm with the Scotland squad a lot now, so I'm not really in the club as much as what I usually am. But if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be training, like doing what I'm doing just in my life right now. Do you know what I mean? So a big thanks to them. I don't think I've sort of said it enough. So, do you know, it's better saying it now when all these people are watching, rather than not saying it at all, really. You know, the Lochee Boys Club, these people give up their time, 3-4 days a week, don't get paid, don't just enjoy giving up their time to see boys come. Yeah, just passion for the sport. Like, this is what keeps some people going. Do you know what I mean? And these people have got their own families and stuff like that they've got to take care of, but they still sacrifice 4 or 5 hours. Go and take you. They've took me up to Inverness before. They've took me up Aberdeen. They're up Aberdeen and stuff every other week. Down in England and that, on shows. They took us away on the trip to London last year. Lochee paid for it and stuff like that. So if they get more trips like that, we went sparring and that at different clubs. So these coaches need a lot more credit than what they get. And you know, a big thanks to them, the coaches at Lochee Boxing Club. And the committee as well. The committee as well, mate. Brian Howitt, Gary Anton, Gordon Burns, Derek. You know, they're all good. They're all good with me. They've all been good with me since I was young. So yeah, it's good to give them a mention, because they've all had the sort of part on what I'm doing now. So yeah, mate, I'm happy. That's all I want to say.
Outstanding. So, where could people catch you, Sam? Where can they connect with you best? Is it Instagram or is it what?
I'm Instagram, Sam Hickey 123. My Facebook, obviously, just Sam Hickey. I don't really use Twitter. I can't remember the username on it. Probably just search Sam Hickey and it will come up, because I don't think there is many Sam Hickeys here. So you'll probably find me on Twitter if you just search that. But yeah, that's all my social media platforms. Yeah, just that's it, mate. That's all I use.
You're back PT and outdoors as well, so
yeah, mate. I'm back doing a few PTs, whether it's boxing technique sort of training or your general sort of weight gain, weight loss training. So if anybody would want a personal training session, just hit my personal training page up, Sam Hickey PT, and we'll get a session, socially distanced, of course.
Brilliant, mate. Guys, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight live, or whether you're watching it back or no, but I would appreciate to get as many shares as we possibly can. Exciting prospect, Sam. How humble, how composed, amazing to chat to, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hit that share button, guys, and let's get this far and wide. Spot on, people. Have a good one, and I'll catch you soon.